What's going on, everybody? By now you should know that the police officer that choked Eric Garner to death will not be charged. And we, I understood that that was going to happen simply for the mere fact that that's the way that the system is designed. And it's not, this is the big issue right here, because we're going to get into this criming while white hashtag on Twitter that you guys definitely have to check out. It's definitely not only a lot of humor, but it's intelligent, and it's something that can create a preemptive strike, because we understand that it's clear that there's a disconnect when it comes to color. And that's what I try to tell, a lot of my young people, because people don't understand something. It's a natural hatred for African American people. So when you attack the situation based on color, it's that much harder to let people understand what you're trying to come across as. That's why I always stress, no matter where I talk, I speak to, Caucasian people, Indian, whatever, ethnicity, whatever, it doesn't matter, wherever I end up, depending on, from all over the place. I always explain to them, it has to be a question about humanity. Because when you involve color, it creates too much of a disconnect. We're gonna go through some of them just to let you guys have an idea of what's going on. Right here, the guy says one thing that's in common, one thing, hashtag criming while white, tweeters have in common. They're all allowed to tell their tales. Listen, this guy right here, he shot up a movie theater. He's still alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we understand what's going on. We understand exactly what the situation is. It's not a secret. And people have to understand that it's not a secret about the way that it is, but it's about the way that it's being portrayed and how it's taken. You can't just get riled up, okay, and just do anything that's erratic. You have to have a plan. Dating back to whenever anything else started, you could go back to the whole Thanksgiving 1492. It's a plan. People are not coming over to be your friend when they want something. You have to plan shit out. It may not be the way that people want to accept it and understand that this is the way it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? If someone has the upper hand, they're going to continue to utilize that upper hand if the people that they're suppressing don't have any unity. And that's the bigger issue. People are going to attack it for color. So it's really hard to understand why not, for these people to understand, like, why isn't anything getting done? Do you understand what's going on? Like, nothing's going to happen as long as you initially start with the race card, because it's obvious and it's pertinent. It's a fucking concrete fact that you're more likely to be shot in your ass if you're an African American Negro. That's not what the problem is. The problem is how the approach is. You understand what I'm saying? That guy, I forgot what that guy's name is. Michael Shea? Is that his name? Michael Shea, the guy that's the one of the hosts from Saturday Night Live? He actually responded to Miss Gmia last night. You know what I'm saying? My wife, after he tweeted out that he doesn't understand why people are laying down in the streets and they're messing up his commute to go home. Because this is what the situation is. I don't think he was being cold. I just think that he was speaking on a different type of intellect. And what I mean is, you have intellect that's for common folk, and you have intellect that's for people that are more inclined to read between the lines. Now, my background, I was forced to learn early to read between the lines, so I understand what people are and what they are going to become. So with him saying that, it's not so much of the fact that what he's saying is heartless and cold because Eric Garner, the cop wasn't found guilty, when it's so blatant. It's just so blatant and ridiculous. Meanwhile, the chokehold's been banned in New York City since 1993 or whatever date that is. It's just so much evidence. It's just so ridiculous. But even with all of that being said, this is what the issue is that you guys have to understand. What Michael Shea, I think he's trying to say, is that if more organization is used and things are targeted directly and done in such a ridiculously efficient manner, you'll have more of an impact. You understand what I'm saying? Because what's gonna happen is, like, New York was basically shut down yesterday. After everything came out, people laying down in the street everywhere. There's a lot of traffic. The bridges were all fucked, things like that. That's going to affect things. But if you do something like what they did for Black Friday and just not do certain things that you're expected to do, it's about money. That's what it all comes down to. And remember though, when you're an African American, it's not only about money. You understand what I'm saying? Just think about what I'm saying there. It's all about money, but when you're an African American, it's not only about money. Because Oprah Winfrey was a billionaire when she went to that other country and they wouldn't let her in the store. So it don't matter about the money in all aspects of life, but I'm speaking specifically about America. We understand what this hashtag criming while white is, and I respect every one of these Caucasian individuals that are willing to tell their story. You know, this guy right here, Owen Benjamin, he's a comedian. This one had me crying tears. I once recorded an NFL game without written permission, and a cop told me I could have his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is hilarious because you have the freedom to say those things. Okay? The one right below it. Dick Cheney. He shot a man right in the face, point blank range. You know what I'm saying? Everything is cool. He out chilling. Plaxico Burress shot himself. He got 2 years in prison. Now, one is a hunting accident, which you know, those are different protocols to follow. So this actually, it doesn't really make as much sense because, you know what I'm saying, I live in New York and the gun laws here are very, very strict. And it's stated that this shit's gonna happen. So this is not parallel. And this is what people will use to create hysteria. And this is that black sheep. This is that cloud that they put over the masses. Does anybody notice that we haven't heard anything about Ebola when it was time for Black Friday and all this shopping and shit like that? Nobody understands the way that things are driven and the way the media works. Because the dangerous thing about the media is that they cater to the sheep. And then the sheep is the mass. So if you have a mass of fucking idiots, this is what happens. We have to understand that the world that we're living in, it's crazy. Like this right here. I was pulled over once, and when the cop saw my skin, he apologized and gave me his wallet and gun. It's comedy, but you have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Cops pull me over just to give me high fives. This shit it's hilarious. It's hilarious. We don't need to go into this because at the end of the day, you know, with George Bush and, you know, whatever happened with that, you know, it's just so much stuff that goes with that right now we have to focus on the actual issue, which is Black America in America. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't really matter. And this guy makes a valid point. How this actually shows privilege. Imagine Black Americans given a list of their crimes and it not being used against them. This is serious shit that's being said, but at the same time, it's used to spark a conversation. Yeah, you're gonna have some fun while doing it. It's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a little bit more time with it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we have to take something from it. And that's all I'm trying to make you guys understand. Hashtag criming while white. Look at it. Got stopped for a DUI. Cop said, "Are you drunk?" I said, "No, I'm high." Then he gave me directions to Taco Bell. Like, you can laugh because I'm gonna laugh about it as a Black African American Negro. Because the plan is to take everything away from you until you're barren and you have nothing, because they know that the chance of unity is slim to none. Because everybody, once they get something for the most part, will take it and run. They're not trying to build upon anything and do anything else. And for most of them, I can't really blame them. Because when you look at what society teaches the whole about what Black America is, why would you want to support that? When you look at African American Negroes on BET or any other kind of shows, it's mostly ignorance. Housewife shows, when the Real Housewives did it, the Caucasian females, it was cool. You got the African Americans doing it in Atlanta. They're fucking sluts, they're hoes, they're niggas. I hear people talk about it. It's the same shit. That's the disconnect. That's all that it is. You know what happens when I wear a black hoodie? It obstructs my peripheral vision. Not much else. This is real shit. This is not something that people could laugh about. But at the same time, it's used as a preemptive strike. People are trying to let you see exactly what it is, but it's obvious. We all have Caucasian friends. I've told you guys several times. I've been in the fucking car, and my friends will get out, like start arguing with arguing with the cops, and the cop looking to the side at me like I kidnapped the dude. Meanwhile, the motherfuckers out there going crazy. They looking at me. They want to shoot me. I'm just sitting in the car in the passenger seat like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you looking at me? My homie is the one yelling at you. But that's the way it is. I was once pulled over with no license, an unregistered car, and no insurance. I was told to walk home, no ticket. This is what it is. But we have to understand, it's just a situation that We have to understand that people have a natural distaste for people of color. So if we use the color as the initial prerequisite, it takes that much longer to attack the fact of humanity. That's all I'm saying. You guys can agree with me, you can disagree with me, whatever you want to do, but think about it. If you make people out for being humane and saying, look, I have a baby, you have a baby. They're different colors, same type of body makeup, same heart, they breathe the same way. If I lose mine and you lose yours, it's the same thing. We both feel that pain. Instead of saying you have a Caucasian baby, I have a black baby. It takes away too much from the conversation. That's all my point is. But there's so much here. There's so much here that you guys can do. Read about it and understand what I'm trying to say, and also understand that you need more organization and less erratic behavior. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to change without organization. That's the bottom line. So we need to make sure that we understand that. Once we do that, it'll be a different story, because now things are documented and it's organized. We're going to the right places. It's the basic, listen, it's a very simple way to attack what's happening. But people have to take a deep breath and understand that this is a continuous cycle that's being allowed to happen because of a lack of communication and a lack of leadership. Understand, Caucasian people do not need leaders. So why do black African American Negroes do? Why do they need it? It's simple. Because they refuse to work together. So they need a clown like Al Sharpton to run around and make money off of what's happening. When in all reality, he looks like a dried up prune. He's not fighting for black America. He's fighting for his pockets and his stomach staple. He looked a lot better when he was fat. That's all I'm saying. But there's so much to look at. And I'm thankful for anyone that started this hashtag, Crime and Wild White. Check it out. Let me know what you think, because it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And until we understand that we have to look at it as humanely as possible, look at people as human beings, not for color, not for religion, not for anything, for everyone in the nation. When life is equal itself and color is secondary, we will eliminate a lot of these problems, because people will be viewed as individuals and not as color. It seems impossible, but believe me, if this is the situation that is taught, and not that you shouldn't do that to black people, you shouldn't do this to black people, that guy's not doing that because he's black, the black, if you stop using black so much and just saying that guy, that person, you'll see people for what they are. And both races, well, not races, well, both types of people, ethnicities, whatever you are, will have a different feel for it. But people have to be willing to give it up. You gotta give up. You gotta give up the black this, the black that. It has to be about humanity. That's why they separate it for state and federal level, and sometimes you went on the federal level where it becomes civil. That's the system doing that to make you understand that nobody gives a fuck about what the situation is when it comes to people of color. And I'm gonna leave you with this. At 13, I stole a car with my friends and drove it for 2 weeks before we got busted. Only one charge was black. Stories like this happen every day. It's not a surprise. But when will organization and people that need to say things, and don't blame the celebrities for not speaking up. Because again, the unity that comes with it and all the changes that happen, the Underground Railroad, everything that goes on, it takes logical Caucasian people to help out as well. So we have to do it as unified as possible, organize it, and get it done. Until that happens, everything else is useless. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say today. And if you didn't, read the hashtag, go through all the things, and maybe you'll start to understand what I'm trying to say. But read between the lines before you make judgment. Until next time, it's always one love.